Congratulations, you have finally made it to the end game. Now, what exactly is the end game? Now, the end game is essentially once you reach a point in this game where you're not too worried about growing your account, you don't really have much to construct, you don't really have a lot of research that you're too worried about, your troop count you're okay with. So at this point in the game where you're just not worried about growing your account, this is what I like to call the end game. Now, the main thing that you want to make sure you know by the time you get to the end game is what kind of account or what kind of role are you going to fulfill in your guild. Now, of course, the first and the main one is usually the rally leader. Now, keep in mind that being a rally leader isn't just about having the gear. Being a rally leader is quite expensive. I don't know if you've gotten the memo, but making sure that you have your max army size, your army attack boost, you have enough troops to always lead a rally, make sure that you're available whenever your guild needs you to rally. All of that you have to take into account. But there's another little thing that a lot of people don't really think about when they are thinking about becoming a rally leader, and that is, it's actually a couple of things. Number one, to be a successful rally leader, you have to know your stuff. You have to know how to counter formation, you have to know how to properly rally, how to make sure that your rallies are the most effective, etc. If you do not know how phalanxes work, how wedges work, all of that, you're not going to be very successful as a rally leader. Now, of course, you are going to need the gear and the jewels and the research and all of that. That is pretty much a given. But knowing how to rally, when not to rally, most importantly, because there's a lot of rally leaders out there that have all the gear, the stats, all of that, but they just do not know when to not rally. That is like a whole different set of skills. So that's all very important. And why is that important? Because when you're a rally leader, you are basically taking control of everybody else's troops. You are responsible for everybody's troops. So being a rally leader that people can trust, that they know that you're going to put them in a situation, or at least a winnable situation, is key in order to fill the rally. If somebody starts a rally that you know usually rallies smartly, correctly, and doesn't mess up at least most of the time, then you don't have an issue of going ahead and joining that rally. But if it's a rally leader that you know always gets captured, always rallying things above their grade, etc., you're probably going to be like, am I really going to be joining this rally? I don't know. And a lot of rally leaders just do not understand that. So if becoming a rally leader is something that you want to do, it's not just going to be about having the right gear, having the right jewels, all of that. You need to be, first of all, you need to know your stuff in the game. And second of all, you need to earn the trust of the guild that you're going to be rallying for. Now, what else is there to do by the time you reach this stage if you're not necessarily looking to be a rally leader? Now, one of the things that I log in daily for is absolutely Colosseum. Like, I still find Colosseum so intriguing just because it's not just about one individual hero. It has to be a team that works together the way that you wanted. And I just find Colosseum to be such a nice game mode away from the war stuff, etc. It's kind of like its own little war game inside a war game, if you will. And it does take a lot of knowledge in, of course, having the right heroes. A lot of people might say that Colosseum is just a bunch of just random stuff happening, but once you know what heroes really do and how they interact, you then will see Colosseum in a completely different light. And the more that you play Colosseum, the more that you watch those replays, because I feel like that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't actually see the replays, and if they do, they don't really focus as to what's happening on them. And if you don't do that, then you can't learn from those replays. So Colosseum is definitely one of my favorite things to do in the game still. Outside of that, one of the other things that I love to do when I log into the game, I go over here to the map and I start looking for targets, whether it's rally targets, whether it's just people that I hit, like for instance these castles right here that have nothing. A lot of times what I just do is I start farming castles for resources. Now if you're not in a stage where you can go ahead and get into Fury at any time, then another thing that you can do is you start looking for darkness, like this one for instance. Even if you're not the one that rallies them, you can find it for the rally leaders to go ahead and rally, because those darkness can give you a lot of great things. Like for instance, I got a level 25 going right now. I got a level 24. I think we just got this one as a level 23. So don't overlook those things, because even if you're not the one leading the rallies, you can still benefit by finding ones that somebody else can rally. And look at this. This is just a castle right next to me, and I was able to get all of those resources just by sending a quick march. Now let me see what else I can find. There goes. There's a level 24 Dark Essence, but it has an anti-scout, so I might be able to run that here just in a little bit once I can get one of these done. But another thing that is very crucial to this game is gathering. Now there is the stigma in this game that if you gather a lot, then you're going to be labeled as a farmer. But let me break it down to you guys. All of these tiles that are out here, they are meant for you to gather. And why is gathering important in this game? Well, you can't really have a war or start hitting castles or wonders, etc. if you can't heal. Like, you need resources. Without resources in this game, you can't continue to do any sort of warfare. So if you like gathering, then if that's your thing, then don't let other people calling you a farmer, you know, take you away from that. Now do keep in mind that being in the right guild for your situation is also very important, because if you're in a war guild and all you do is gather, you don't necessarily send to the rallies or anything. In some guilds that might be okay if you're quote unquote in the resource team, that your job is just to provide resource for those that are fighting. But if there's no such thing in the guild that you're in, then that might not be the best place. You might be better off finding a kingdom that's not populated, a guild that's not necessarily out there looking for war, and they might just be growing. So finding the right guild to do your daily things and actually follow along with what you do, that is also very important. Now another thing that I actually like, and maybe this is just me, I don't know how many other people love to do this, but when I log in and I start doing all my daily stuff, a lot of times I just like to go and see a big war. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. This crazy war that's going on right now in Kingdom 328. I love to watch it. I love to watch these Titan people just attack each other, because first of all, it doesn't hurt me, and it's just fun to watch all of these. And I actually start picking up strategies of how they do it. For instance, right now there's really nobody in the base, so a lot of times what they do is they'll send a march, they'll hit, and then they'll have like 2 or 3 rallies waiting in order to make sure that they hit them off the base. And this is why a lot of times these base wars go on for days and weeks, is because no matter how strong you are, like for instance this guy right here, mythic champion, there is just as many mythic champions on the other side, so you're not gonna be taking 2 or 3 rallies at once. So it's just a never-ending battle, and it's just so fun to watch, and I love doing this. So at the end of the day, the quote-unquote end game is really what you make of it. If you're a rally leader, or if you're a person that's out here just trying to get your kill count up or looking for some action, make sure that you join a guild that's gonna accommodate that for you. If you're not necessarily looking for a lot of action, then make sure that you find a guild that's maybe more of a friendly guild, more of a family guild, and growing together and whatnot, and maybe that's gonna fit your style more. But the end game is really what you want to make of it. Once your account is in a good place where you don't have to worry too much about growing the account, then you then would have to just focus on having fun. And having fun for everybody is not the same. Like for me, having fun is maybe some action one day. The next day, maybe I just sit back and chill, hunt some monsters, do some Colosseum, and then that's it. So for me, non-stop action is not really what I'm looking for, but I also don't want to just sit there for a week and do nothing. So it's a nice little balance that you have to find. Also, kingdom. Kingdom is very, very crucial. If you're in a kingdom that's just super populated, just like the one I was just showing, you might not be, you know, too excited about that. But if you also don't want to be in a kingdom that's completely empty, it's all relative when it comes to guilds, kingdoms. You just gotta find the right balance for you. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section what your end game looks like. Is it more warring? Is it more just chilling and having some fun with your guild? Would love to hear from you guys. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching, and until later, bye.